Hello and welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way. This is where I use digital painting apps to teach traditional painting techniques. This is the final segment in my Seascape series, and in this video we're going to go ahead and just add the final details to the sea. If you're following along traditionally, check out part 1 in this series where I have a list of all the paint and the brushes and the canvases that I use. We're going to be using Infinite Painter for Android, and we're going to go ahead and start with the Pollock brush, and we're going to go ahead and finish out adding a little bit of foam to the waves and adding a little bit more of the sea spray and the splashes. So I just go ahead and take cadmium orange and throw in a lot of white acrylic gesso if you're following along traditionally, and just go ahead and add this on the edges of the foam on your waves, and continue using probably your number 10 bristle brush, and just go ahead and tap the ends of the bristles very lightly on your canvas, and this gives it sort of a spread out look. It makes the bristles spread out when you tap it on the end of the canvas there, and then that gives it kind of a foam look, like the water is splattering around. And just go ahead and keep doing that and follow your photo reference a little bit right here. Make it look jagged. We don't want it to look uniform. You can go ahead and put a little bit on the waves in the back, but we don't want real big detail there because that's in the back. And then I want to go ahead and take my Leo brush and add a little bit of highlights to the waves here. And these are going to be the final highlights, and so we want a really light color, but still not pure white because this is a sunset scene, so we kind of want some color in our whites there. So just use cadmium orange. You can also throw in a little bit of cadmium red light. And just go ahead and make these wave structures using your zigzag lines and banana shaped strokes, and just kind of make crisscrosses all along the edges of the waves and on the top there, and just go ahead and put it all along the area there where there's not a lot of detail. We want to go ahead and kind of add a little bit of detail there. And then curve on the top of your wave there, put a curve on the top of the wave in the back and on the front kind of. And then you want to go ahead and add a little bit of dark strokes too, just like the strokes that you were making for the highlight. They're going to be zigzag strokes and banana shaped strokes. And just go ahead and hunt and pick places on your painting that you think need a little bit more darkening, and some that need a little bit more highlights. And just keep doing this till you've got it what you think looks pretty good and looks kind of like waves. And then I wanted to take the inky brush in a minute and go ahead and make the spray a little bit more spray droplets on it. And so you can use the inky brush from the airbrushes, and if you're following along traditionally, get an old toothbrush and dip it in a really thinned out white paint with a little bit of cadmium orange, and then just spray it on your canvas. Cover up the parts on the top. Just use a piece of paper or something to cover up the clouds and the mountains, but you want to go ahead and do that a little bit on the edges of your foam, and that looks like spray droplets. And then here I'm adding just a little bit of some detail to the distant cliffs, and just take the same white color we've been using, tinted off-white, and add a little bit of some subtle highlights that just show kind of a cliff structure. We don't want any big details because this is really soft and way in the background, and it's not going to show up with a lot of details, but we just want a hint of some structure in the background. And here I'm smoothing it in with a smudge brush, and you can also smudge it in with a paper towel or your finger if you're doing this traditionally. And we just want to make sure that it looks soft, but it looks like there's a little bit of some structure in the cliffs in the back there. And the next thing we want to do is kind of look at the horizon and make sure that it's straight in your picture. We want to make sure that we've got the water real straight. And just kind of step back and see what you need to do, because you're getting pretty close to the end now, and there's just a few more details that you want to add. Not a lot, but just a few more details. And then you can go ahead. I went ahead and signed it, and then I actually saw a few more things that I wanted to do, but that's okay. I mean, you can go ahead and sign it anytime you want to. And then I usually go back and find things that I want to correct a little bit after I've signed it, but that's just it. You put in your signature and you step back and take a good look at it. And of course, in Infinite Painter, just shrink it down so that it looks like you're looking at it from a distance, and look at the things that you want to do. And I decided, well, I need to smooth the waves out just a little bit more. I don't need to do a lot of work here because I don't want to mess it up. I've got it about like I want it to, so I just smoothed out a little bit of the waves right there and along on the horizon, making sure that it's straight and that the highlights are smoothed in a little bit, and then call it good. And I wanted to show you some examples of some of my other paintings that I've done. I've got these in my online galleries, and you can find the links to these galleries down below. But I wanted to show that you can add lighthouses, you can do the beach scenes, you can even do a surrealism, like I've got the hand painting the picture. And I like to do lighthouses, so I do a lot of lighthouses. You can put in sailing ships if you want to, sailboats, big ships. You can put in mermaids, you can put in pirates, you can do all kinds of different things. This is just sort of the basic seascape painting, and if you want to, you can add all kinds of things to it. Well, this is the end of my Seascape lesson series, and so just everybody stay tuned. I'm going to have a brand new series done pretty soon. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for your support, and I will catch you later.